All right, so let's get into this. This is going to be, well, are you going to swap hit scan immediately, or
One death, I think.
oh,
One death,
you're
and
just
then
gonna
I'll
go
swap.
for like one death on Vendetta? Okay.
Yeah, like a
I
bit of a,
will say I still do not have like a lot of confidence in understanding Vendetta yet, so I think that this will be interesting for me to see.
Oh, I'll end because I realize I want to swap. Like this is suicide.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
don't. This won't be impressive. I do have, I think,
No.
100% win rate on Vendetta the gym on this account. It's very good.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, let us see
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Let us
like
see it.
19 out of 19. So Vendetta is good. Vendetta works.
Okay, that was definitely an
Yeah.
edit. All right, let's see. Okay, so you swap Cass here. All right. What made you decide to swap Cass?
It's just mostly what I want to learn, to be honest,
Okay.
of the hit scan. And I don't know. I think it's the easiest. You will see. I like flash right clicking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way I play Cass, I try to just shoot tank quite a bit. Just right click, roll, right click. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that quite a
Okay.
bit. And especially into a Reaper, I didn't really want to play. I don't know. I just kind of like the self peel here. I suppose with the Moira, I assume like this guy would be DPS Moiraing in our backline.
Right.
So maybe a flash right click would be a free kill.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll get into that. I'll get into that part later. So if I was to ask you essentially how you think hit scan works, right? What would you say?
Uh, do a lot of damage. Help your. I would say I'm mostly helping my tank. Like I should help my tank when he's out, get more space in the enemy tank. Be it by kind of pressuring the enemy support so they can't heal the tank as easily, or just shooting the enemy tank
Hmm.
so my tank can kill them for us, basically.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I want you to take all of the roles and all of the heroes completely out of the equation. The only role that is going to matter is just you playing hit scan. That's going to be it. Despite all of those things, like ignoring the kind of the idea of tank, DPS support, right? How do you play hit scan?
Sit back, just do a lot of damage, don't die, I guess.
Sit back, do a lot of damage, don't die. I mean, that sounds good enough to me. Right? Okay, so this is already instantly problematic. I just want to kind of go over this real quick. All right. If I was to ask you what a problem would be with your positioning currently, what do you think it would? What do you think would come to mind?
I'm in front of my Doomfist into four people. I think I should be on the right side at least, not down me into four
Okay,
people.
right. So
Uh,
you're in front of your Doomfist of four people, sure, right? But I kind of want you to explain to me how you would die in this instance. What would be the reason why you would die?
I think the Reaper or Orisa can just walk me down, and my support can't see me Wu Yang, and my Juno is really far back.
Right,
So I'm
right,
kind
right.
of, yeah, I don't
So
really have much support as well, or tank.
yeah, 100%. So the Reaper and the Orisa can just like walk you down, and that's an extremely important thing. The enemy team, you're kind of close enough to the enemy team where the enemy team can kind of walk you down, and you don't really have the ability to get out. Like if you were playing Tracer here, you just blink away, right? If you're playing
Yeah,
Vendetta, you just like use a movement cooldown. One of your movement cooldowns, you could just if you're playing like any other hero, right? Any other flex DPS, if you're in the enemy's threat range, then you can just kind of use a cooldown and get out. You can't do that on hit scan. Very few hit scans have that ability, and even on the hit scans that do have that ability, like Sojourn, you don't want to be using it. You don't want to be forcing it every 5 seconds, right?
yeah.
So this is going to be obvious, one of the obvious problems when it comes to hit scans, right? And kind of making that transition is understanding that there's going to be a lot of times where you just don't have the time to play the game yet. You just don't get the time, right?
Mhm.
This is not your time. If you want to force something, this is definitely not the place. This is not the time. You need to kind of wait for your team to actually be able to set yourself up in a good sight line right now, or you need to try to do something to force it yourself, right? This is not a good
Mhm.
timing, and because it's not a good timing, you're going to take a really negative resource trade where if your team, if the enemy team kind of decided to kind of walk on you a little bit harder there, or your team didn't give you as much support as you needed in that circumstance, you could probably have died. If this was a higher rank lobby, that is exactly what would have happened, right?
Yeah.
So that's just one thing just starting out that we probably want to look at. This is okay.
Like, this is kind of what I mean. Like, now that Doomfist is dead, do I just, like, I guess I'm supposed to wait again?
Okay, it's
Because we don't have a tank?
well, yeah, but I don't necessarily think that what you're doing is bad. It's just like you can just kind of chill, you can kind of poke out here, but the idea is that you're down a tank, right? So what does
Yeah.
being down a tank mean?
I mean, we can't push in like we won't win the 4v4.
Right, you can't
Because they're
push
down
in.
a DPS, what we won. Yeah, we
Right.
won't win the 4v4 here. So I just wait and poke, I suppose, and wait.
Yeah, but what
For
does it
Doomfist.
also what does it also mean like for the enemy that you're down a tank?
They can push into us right now. Like, I don't know why the Orisa is sitting back. She
Right.
should just push me out, I think.
Right. Now the thing is, it's still even if it's a 4v5 scenario, it's still going to be really hard to push you guys out because you guys have a whole bunch of different off angles set up in this room, and also it's going like you have the ability to kind of just get out for free because if you're like kind of playing closer back out here towards these walls, if the Orisa kind of walks all the way in here to try and run you down, you're going to be out of cover and like out trying to run away from the Orisa while she's going to get shot from people back over here. Right? It's going to be really annoying either way. So just walking and W keying straight into this room is still going to be a very resource intensive commitment. And if this Orisa feels like she doesn't need to do that, then she doesn't have to, right? Now, that being said, you can just that would just allow you to kind of just sit back and chill. But the problem is that if you start playing up here, right? Does that decision become a lot easier for the Orisa as to whether or not to push you?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right, right. Even playing where you're at right now, this decision probably becomes pretty easy, because all it takes is one speed ring, right? Right. So if I'm thinking about anything, I'm playing back here, because if I'm playing back here, further away from the corner, at least I can just roll back this way and I can live immediately, right? If I'm playing on top of where this ash is, at least I can like roll back out this way and live immediately, right?
Okay.
Right. Where I'm currently positioning is way too close to the enemy team to the point where if they decide to kind of take the trade and take the commitment, they can just completely switch up the engagement on me at any time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is going to be a concept that I've been talking about a lot about recently when it comes to reach and understanding reach. Right. So what reach essentially is it's going to be your effective range plus your kind of burst mobility in a sense, right? So if we're talking about like, if I'm playing into a Widowmaker and a Widowmaker's sitting all the way back here, if I walk up through this doorway, I'm going to be within her reach, obviously, right? But if that was also like a Winston or a Wrecking Ball, I would also be within his reach as well because he can immediately close the distance. You know what I mean? Right.
Yep.
So if I'm kind of playing up here, I'm already within the reach of the enemy team. Now, the thing is, the reach of these players isn't necessarily that high. Like, they're relatively decently okay, right? Like, Moira's got pretty good distance on her fade, right? Orisa's got jab spin. Cass has some decent range plus, roll. So I mean, it's whatever, right? But this is the key idea here. This is the thing that's going to make everything really annoying for you. Is that this can dramatically increase the reach of all of these players simultaneously, right? And once that happens, if you are within that reach and they decide that they don't want you to be alive anymore, you're just not going to be alive anymore, right? So a big key component is, sure, I want to play to my effective range, right? But I also want to play out of the enemy team's reach. And the reason why I want to play out of the enemy team's reach is because I don't want them to control the rules of the engagement. I want to control the rules, right? So if that's going to be the case, I do not want to play close enough to this enemy team so that they can just walk on me with speed ring. But I still want to do damage. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be playing far out. I'm even going to be playing outside of my effective range, right? Because I don't have a situation where I can comfortably go in. Now, at what time periods do you think that you can get within the enemy team's reach?
I think if our Doomfist is in there, because they're gonna be looking at the Doomfist more.
Right.
If there's some distraction.
Right. So if there's a distraction, if the Doomfist is in, if they're looking at the Doomfist more, then you being in their reach means that they still have a choice to make. Do they push you or do they push the Doomfist? Right.
Yeah.
Now, what else could be a defining factor? Like, let's say there's 5 people on your team and 5 people on the enemy team are both within each other's reaches. What decides who wins?
Not sure. Ults.
Ults. That's a very Overwatch 1 answer of you, right?
I mean,
That's not. I'm
you got,
not saying it's wrong, but
I'm not sure. I think, I mean, they've got a Reaper Orisa comp. I'm not sure. They're
okay.
much more close range. We've got
Ooh,
Ash, Cass.
right. Range, right? So close range. Like if they're running, Reaper, Orisa, or like if the Reaper and the Orisa were up here close and personal, and like they were on top of your Ash, then who's going to be winning? The Reaper and Orisa, or the Ash and like maybe someone else?
Yeah,
Like probably the Reaper and the Orisa. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Because they have their effective ranges, so effective ranges is also going to matter in that situation, right? Okay. Well, then what's another thing that could potentially swing the impact? Swing the fight, right? Well, okay. Let's say that your team decides to take a trade out here, right? And
Mhm.
all of the enemy team is looking in this direction, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that we mysteriously pick up and teleport your Ash all the way over here, right? How much damage is the Ash going to do from a position like this?
A lot. I mean,
A
if he hits the
lot.
shot.
Oh, again, yeah, but probably a lot. And we can say it's because of the effective range, sure, and that's also an important detail. But what's the most important detail right here is the fact that the enemies are not in a position to be able to turn around far enough to be able to deal with that Ash, right? So that Ash has a positional advantage over your team in terms of the angle that she's taking, right? So when we have off angles, when we have our effective range, right? When we have resource advantages, when we have all of these things can kind of take into play as to when we would want to get within the enemy team's reach. But when we don't have those things and we don't have those things set up yet, then we shouldn't be getting in the enemy team's reach, right? This is the key component. This is the key idea, especially in terms of higher ranks, as to how you're going to kind of play the game, and towards a major level in terms of all heroes, all characters. You want to fight when you're strong, and you want to make sure that the enemy team cannot fight you when you're weak, right? That's the key kind of distinction, and this is kind of, at least to a smaller degree, less macro degree, but in terms of a more micro degree, this is that kind of concept of play, right? I don't want to give the enemy team the option to take a fight right now when they have the advantage over me, right? So what
Okay.
I'm going to do is I'm going to make this decision to play out back here and to kind of play to chill and be safe, so that if the enemy team wants to try to take a trade, I have the ability to just kite out and win, right?
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. This is nice. This is nice. What was the problem? What do you think?
Honestly, I thought we get one shot with a flash right click, but he got healed with the Wu Yang, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, you thought you were going to one-shot him with a flash right click. Was it
I
kind
shot
of...
left click. Shot left click. Yeah, I hit a left click on him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Normal left click, then flash right click. I thought that would kill.
Right. What... Okay. So then, here's my question there. Is that... Was that a reason... Was that kind of going to be reasonable to get the kill there? Was that a consistent way of getting a kill?
Not really, no, but I think
Kind
my
of.
Doomfist died right before this started as well. So I kind of was just praying, like, we get a kill, because if not, the fight is lost anyways. Like, I don't have a tank.
Ooh,
So I
that's
was
good.
trying to make it a 4v4.
Okay, before we get into that, because that's not entirely true, but before we get into that, right? Okay, so you just decided so you thought it's kind of meh reasonable-ish in terms of like being able to actually get the kill here and being able to actually secure the kill here on this guy, right? But now let's switch perspectives, right? And then let's go to this Reaper. How reasonable is it for this Reaper to kill you?
Quite reasonable. He had a big left click, like the moment I
Right.
peeked.
Well, it's not about the left click, is it? Right? Because like if we really think about it, the thing that makes this so easy is the range. It's not, oh, he hit his shots or something like that, and I just didn't hit mine. And that's a really, really dangerous trap to go into, right? It's not
Mhm.
about who's hitting their shots. What it's about is who has more opportunities to actually hit shots than the other person, right?
Him,
This
yeah.
Reaper has a significantly more consistent and numerous amount of opportunities in order to actually kill you than you do to kill him in this instance. So is it reasonable that you could potentially have killed him here? Yeah. Does this mean that that makes it an accurate decision? No, because you're also giving him the opportunity to kind of kill you as well. This is something that I kind of talked about in my Hanzo video, in my champion Hanzo video a lot actually. If you've watched that one before, but a lot of the time we're trying to minimize the enemy's opportunities into us while maximizing our opportunities into them. So if you wanted to try to pressure out this Reaper, right? How would you have done it?
Just stay back. I poke. Yeah, go downstairs,
Right?
poke him.
Like you've got you do have enemies over here on this side, but this in this instance, like your wing's kind of up here to be able to deal with that, at least to a degree. I mean, I'm not going to kind of trust in it, but at the same time, the same token, like just peeking out right here for a second and just poking this Reaper out. How much damage am I going to be doing? As much damage into him as I would be over here? Probably not. No, but am I still going to be doing enough damage to him for it to matter? Yes. Is he going to be? How much damage would he be doing to me?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
Nothing, right? So I acknowledge an advantageous state that I have over this Reaper, and now I'm going to leverage it, right, to kind of push this guy out without giving him the chance. Is this the most effective, maximal amount of pressure output that I can be applying? No, but this is what gets me to win, right?
Did
Okay.
I even know this Reaper was there when I
I,
turned that corner? Did I get surprised? I think I knew. I think I
I,
shot the corner.
I
Did they
think.
just walk in?
Okay, hold
Maybe
on.
I just didn't know.
Let me slow this down a bit.
So shooting.
But he is kind of shooting over there. If you can kind of hear the audio cue. Right, but at least at this
So
point,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I saw this and I'm like, this guy doesn't see me. I'll flash right click him. I think I got greedy.
Yeah, yeah. If he doesn't see me, like, right. But again, you're kind of, this is kind of cheaty. This is kind of like, you're like, oh, I'll just bank on him not being able to do the right thing and executing the correct play. You don't want to do that, right? Never
Mhm.
bank on the enemy teams being bad to win your games. That's a skill check. We don't want to win with skill checks, right? Because if pro players start skill checking each other in their OWCS matches, then they're just going to lose, right? Because their enemies are just going to be way better, right? Now, obviously, if this guy was bronze, you could probably expect him to probably be really, really bad at the game. But even in that circumstance, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? You don't
No,
want to give them that opportunity. You don't want to give them that chance to finally suddenly grow hands, right? So don't even try it. You get what I
no,
mean?
no. Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn down my volume a little bit. Oh, hello. Can I have my mouse back? I would appreciate a mouse. Thank you. Yeah, let me just turn down my volume a little bit. Okay. Oh, and also before that, just one more thing, because you were saying earlier about the Doomfist kind of dying, right, and how,
Yeah.
okay, if we don't get a pick, we're going to win this fight. Well, okay, an advantage in terms of like a player important in this game, right? Having being one player up, how important is that advantage?
Very, I
Very,
think.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to deny that, right? But are there other advantages in this game that you can leverage over your enemy that don't have to deal with numbers?
Ults.
Ults, maybe, but more so
Mm.
than that, what about space? What about angles? Positional advantages, right? This is kind of
Yeah.
a thing that a lot of Overwatch 1 coaches don't really talk about that much. Also, just a lot of like Western coaches in general sometimes like slack on that concept and that idea. And this is something that kind of at least in my kind of perspective and understanding of it, that Koreans understand a little bit better, is that it's not always about the alts or the people or the man advantages or the resource advantages and whatnot. It's a lot of the time it can literally just be about the positional advantages. Just getting someone in a really strong position at the right time, especially in 5v5 when space is a whole lot freer, can be significantly more powerful than ultimates, right? in a lot of different cases. Because again, ultimates are only as strong as the positions that they're used from, right? Even something as powerful as ultimates are, if you're stuck in a choke, right, you try to use like force your way out with like 3 ults, they can just kite that easy, and then you're just down ults, and then they just kind of come back and win with superior positions alone, right? When it comes to like taking an off angle in those situations, if you can find a suitable off angle, you can pull enemy attention away from a choke, and that allows your team to get in for free and then pop their ultimates later and then win, right? I've seen that happen countless times, right? And especially in a game like 5v5, like space on the map is so free. You don't have two tanks controlling two different sides of the map at the same time, right? A lot of the times there's a lot of free open space that you can take to set up whatever kind of angles that you want. And then you can use that free space to buy how many advantages you need. A lot of the times, positional advantages are just as strong, if not stronger, than resource advantages are. But if you only think and you limit yourself only kind of to the perspective of we're down a person, so we're going to lose, or we're down alts, so we're going to lose, then that's going to make you make stupid decisions like this that are going to get you cooked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of been on this for like 30 years, so let me just kind of move forward a little bit here. Right? Okay, interesting concept. You're in main, you're shooting, your Doomfist is here, we're kind of stuck in a choke situation. How do you think you could leverage like an off angle over here to kind of push us through his choke a little bit easier without an ult?
Or left, maybe?
Go here. If Cass comes, shoot at Cass. If Cass doesn't come, just shoot this Orisa in the back.
Yeah.
This is going to be so free, right? Like, what's a high noon going to do here, right?
Yeah.
Right, but like if I just literally just go over here and I just poke this Orisa in the back, how much is she going to leave? She's probably going to leave, man, right? Because she can't deal with two angles at the same time, right? Barely any tanks can to a reasonable degree, and all of them hate it, right? Right, and again, stuck in choke, can't move, Reaper gets his effective range, he wins.
Yeah.
Take off angle out here, push Orisa back, go deeper, kill this Cass, and then you can go deeper even again, kill the Juno, right? You just keep going. You take space on point, shoot this, shoot this. It doesn't matter. Oh, but I'm a hit scan, right? So a hit scan's supposed to sit in main with the rest of his team. He's supposed to keep sitting in main and do damage to the tank all game. No. Right? You can play on any position on the map that you want to as long as it's safe for you. The only reason that makes that, flex DPS can flank a lot easier is because they're faster, so they get to the positions quicker, and also because of the fact that if they're within the enemy's reach, they have tools to get out of it a lot easier than hit scans do. But again, if you are playing in a position that allows you to maintain your distance away from the enemy so that you're out of their reach, then it's still going to be an extremely powerful position for a hit scan, even if it is on a flank, right? Okay. All right. Uh-oh. He's growing brain cells. Chat, this is not a drill. Okay. This is a little bit, cheaty, but it makes sense because you're trying to defend your Lucio over here from this Reaper, and this Reaper is definitely killable. But at the same time, would you have had that opportunity from in here?
No.
No,
But I
definitely
think I just like here I see we're playing Doomfist into Cass Reaper Orisa, and I think I've been frustrated because it's a very bad tank pick into this, and it's making it hard for him to walk in. I think so. I think it makes it harder for me to, I guess, play down main. So I had to flank more, but I've been so focused on the fact my Doomfist can't play.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for him to do something.
Yeah. This again a lot of similar mentality issues when it comes to the whole entire resource advantages and positional advantages and things about that, right? Hero picks matter to a relatively decent-ish degree. They don't matter that much. They do not matter that much, right? The reason why an Orisa hero pick would matter against a Doomfist is if everybody is stacked in a line, you're taking a front to back fight, right? Doomfist, and Orisa are just like kind of like standing right in front of each other. Doomfist uses block, Orisa uses a spear, and then she wins, right? If that exact situation is changed even slightly by someone taking a small little positional difference out this way, right? Then the Orisa can't just abuse that advantage over the Doomfist anymore, and then the Doomfist gets a lot more freedom to move.
Yeah, yeah.
It's you cannot thinking about things in terms of a vacuum, in terms of one small advantage over the enemy in a vacuum is not great, because is not a good thing, because you are ignoring a vast number of other advantages that certain heroes can have in different situations. Like, for example, Doomfist's mobility advantage. He has an insane mobility advantage over Orisa, right? He can just go straight around the Orisa and hit backline, and if his team has the setup in order to do so, can actually do something extremely effective, right? There's a reason why people aren't just constantly counter picking like meta compositions, right? Because I mean, all of the heroes in meta comps have counters, but the advantages that the meta compositions play for are just going to be so much more important and impactful than just the single hero differences, right? The single hero compositional differences. So of course, this is strong. This was a good decision for me because you kind of set yourself up for this, right? But this isn't. But this isn't a decision that's made because, oh, my Doomfist can't do anything, so I have to kind of do everything. No, this is a decision that's made because, oh, this space is free. I'm going to use this space. Oh, that Reaper's 1 HP, and he's chasing my Lucio, so I'm going to kill that Reaper, right? And then it's like, okay, now that the Reaper's dead, what advantages do I have to leverage?
A lot more space,
Right.
theoretically. I
Theoretically,
can
yeah.
just stay, yeah,
Right.
bottom right here and just shoot them, I think.
Right. You could go out here and shoot them, or you can kind of go back over here on this side, which I would like more, right? And now I don't have to. I can take what kind of spaces can I take now that I wasn't able to take before when the Reaper was on the board?
Closer range, I suppose, as well.
Right.
I
Right.
don't need to be here,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
yeah.
But like again, you can take more, and you can be more comfortable with taking these closer, tighter spaces because there's not a Reaper that you have to constantly be checking corners with to make sure that he's not sitting around some corner ready to one-shot you, right? So now that there's no Reaper, I can just sit here comfortably for free, and the only things that I have to worry about, the only thing that I have to worry about is Orisa. So if I know where Orisa is, then I just don't have to. I don't have to worry, right? Now, theoretically speaking, you should definitely be going back onto this side of the map as opposed to this side of the map, because the majority of your team is already on this side of the map, and this is the side of the map you initially started on, so you don't want to switch lanes, right? That's just a little bit more lane theory. But you have a lot of advantages to leverage now. How are you going to leverage all those advantages? Are you going to leverage those advantages, or are you just going to go back to defaulting to what you think should be the general response of a hit scan to do, right? Fine. Right. Okay. Okay, let me look at this real quick. Go shoot that Reaper. Oof, that was panicked. That was done panically, right? If you're playing over here and you're playing on this side of the map, what's your escape route?
Roll to the right side, I guess, into my team.
I would say even
Oh,
deeper.
there's no.
I would say even deeper left, right?
Okay.
Right, because again, you're still controlling the space. If the enemy team decides to hard walk onto you, you're far enough away where you can just keep backing up. If they do, then your team can just hit them in the back, right? Leverage that angle advantage there. But you're just if you're here and you're going to commit to this is kind of a little bit risky in terms of like it's going to like compress your angles a lot more, compress your situations in terms of like where you can go to, where you can back up to a lot more, but it's still relatively safe. So if you're here, play the position and kind of go back over here. You decided not to play the position because you're like scared of the enemy team and whatnot. So you wanted to, your default is, oh, I need to go back to my team, right? But then if you recognize going over here means that you have to go forward closer to the enemy team before you can back up, right? So you're
Yeah.
like, oh
Like drop
shoot, so I'm
down.
just gonna roll down, but now I have no high ground and I'm gonna be out of the fight for like 30,000 seconds, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, am I saying this because I wanted you to perfectly expect to think about every single positional commitment that you're going to be making and where you're going to be going as the next step. Well, I mean, you should, but I'm not necessarily thinking that that's, realistically the problem here. I think realistically speaking, the problem here is that you're just thinking, oh, shoot, I'm not in a position that looks like what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm going to try and change that, right? I'm out over here, and I'm like, oh, and these guys are coming closer, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm not in the center of my team, so I want to roll closer to my team, and then that's what's going to get you cooked. Right. Your team's positioning should, rarely influence yours unless you're trying to utilize someone as like leverage to be able to take some, position that you really, really want, but you can't have under normal circumstances. Right. Other than that, we don't really care.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Like just go out here, just chill out here, and then you can even swing into their back line. Boom.
Yep.
Right. And the reason why something like that would work again, they have nothing to stop you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Come. Okay. That was kind of one of the times where it's just like, okay, that makes sense because you have the informational advantage over that Reaper, and also like he's in your space, so you have to kind of deal with that either way, right? Nice, nice. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, and then shoot that. Nice. Really well executed. Really well executed there. Right. I love the casts that aren't afraid to just pop fan the hammer and win. Right?
It's good. Good ability.
100%. Where do you need to be?
Back to shooting. I think I'm scared of Reaper ults.
Mm-hmm. You're scared of Reaper ult. So the thing is, here's the idea, right? This is kind of something that needs to be premeditated, right? And this is kind of going back to this side of the map over here, right? Like when we were talking about the side of the map over here. You need to commit. Which side of the map are you on right now? Which side of the map are you committing to?
Right, so I'm going left then.
Right, like you're on the right. You're on the right side of the map. You should probably commit to the right side of the map, right?
Yeah.
If I'm over here on this side of the map, then I'm going to be here on this side of the map with the plan of swinging out this way when things get hairy, right? Or if I'm getting pushed to like swing back over here this way, right? If I'm playing on this side of the map, my plan, if I'm backing up, probably even just like to like back out here or back out to this way or back out, drop down this way or something like that. And maybe then my swing out option is just going over here and swinging out this way, right? All I'm saying though is that you're shooting here, you decide to cross and jump lanes over to this side, and now you have to remake all of those plans all over again.
Yep.
And that causes you to not be able to make the perfect decisions that you need to do. And now your Doomfist is going in 1v4. Does it matter that it's a Doomfist versus an Orisa here? Not really, because if this was like an Orisa counter or something, like I don't know. If this was something that could counter an Orisa, it would still be suffering right now because it's taking a 1v4, right? Because you're not there, right? And this is an extremely important thing. Right. Now that's more of just like okay.
I didn't think he'd pop ult into 40.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. You just kind of got debated. That was actually a really well executed Reaper. Yeah. No, I understand this.
I think it's not even so bad because I think we go 1-for-1 and he wastes ult. I think this is okay, to be honest. Like I get solo ulted, we win the fight, he doesn't have it for next. I didn't know my team was gonna kill him. But...
Yeah, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Right, but also at the same time, the only reason that I'm like normally I would say like you probably shouldn't be this close to the Reaper anyway, and kind of like not giving him that opportunity. But realistically speaking, there wasn't many other options for you. So I mean, it's understandable as to why you died to this. Right. Okay. Right. This is a little bit awkward. You know this is a little bit awkward, and it kind of makes sense because your team is playing in a really, really bad
I
spot. Your
would
team is
want
kind
them
of
to. I
throwing.
think if there's a champ lobby, like they would be holding back of stairs because around 90, you don't need to be hold. And I didn't like that we're playing so close range to a Reaper or Orisa,
You're right.
but like I also don't want to like AFK and point. But I think if I push up, I die with them. So like yeah, I don't
Right.
know.
Right. At this point, I totally, completely understand what you're saying, and I honestly, I kind of get it. But in terms of like where your team is actually deciding to take this fight, a lot of the majority of the time, it's better to kind of throw an int with your team and to try and at least see if you can make it work than to try just do the right thing alone and then have your team just go in and throw themselves into a meat grinder. Right. So this is your team is really stupid here. Your team really should not be holding right there, with the composition that you have. But I mean, whatever. Right.
And Lucio dies, which is not good.
See, this is kind of the idea of like, are you commit of like where are you committing, right? And understanding that, right? So first off, probably you could have been a little bit closer up here to just try and see if you can hard poke through something or whatnot. But I understand not wanting to kind of be up here in this room, right, within the enemy team's reach. But you could at least kind of be out here, maybe try to swing and poke or something, and then roll out and then try to run speed back with your team once things get hairy, right? But realistically speaking, is this kind of the range that you want to be against the enemy team right now? First off.
It's okay, no? It's not bad because they have to come points. Am I
It's
too
yeah.
far?
It's
Okay,
not
okay.
bad. I would say that maybe like being slightly closer would be a little bit better, like something like right here, right? Because I think this is more closer to your fall off range at that point,
Yeah.
right? Secondly, right, you're kind of just sitting in main, right, which isn't horrible in this instance, but if your team is over here on this side of the map and you're over here on this side of the map, which side of the map is probably going to be the ones that you're going to need to control more?
Left.
Right. So you just said left, right. All right, my fault, my ADHD brain. Anyway, so you're probably going to be controlling this side of the map significantly more and significantly harder. You deciding to kind of switch up and go down here is really, really bad. Because now this gives all of these guys this map space for free. Imagine if you were still right here, how much damage would that cast be taking? How much damage would Orisa be taking, right? How much damage would Reaper maybe have taken right here, right?
Yeah. I think I'm going for the Juno. I think I tried to kill the Juno on the right side because I think that's what I saw. So I
Right.
tried to kill the Juno.
But at the same time, it's not on your angle. Like this is your angle here,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
you switching up gives the enemy team space and means that you have to set up all of your opportunities again this way.
Yeah.
Right. You got rolled.
That's
And then you win that one. Okay. Good job. Come. Walk up. Okay. Now, this is kind of going to be the situation where it's like, I know you don't see what the enemy team is running just yet, but I think it's because of the fact that you don't see that the enemy team is running just yet that you need to be that you need to be thinking about this. What is your effective range on Cass?
not that long. I mean,
Right.
somewhere medium air.
Mid-range, right?
Yeah.
So if the enemy team rolls out on Widow and then just grapples up here, like you could die in like 0.2 seconds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now again, that's like Widowmaker Broken Hero, but at the same time, like you're still going, even if it's not a Widow, even if it's an Ana or an Ashe, right? Which they do have an Ana, right? Then that's still a negative trade that you don't want to take. Whereas instead, wrong cast, instead, if I just start rolling out over here on this side, just playing close, see what they have, see if they're coming through this way, seeing what's going on, and then maybe deciding to rotate out here later once I see what the heck is going on, then that would just be better, right? So we don't know what the heck is going on. We want to make sure that our options are kind of open to our strengths, right?
No.
And see, this is just this doesn't feel that great, right?
Yeah.
Now your Doom did int, but at the same time, we're not able to do significant amounts of damage to like pretty much anything here. So we don't get a good trade out of this int. Like if you look at their health bars, they like literally barely went down, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then now you're out in the open, you get TP'd on by Reaper. Right. Okay. Okay, this is fine. Right. You got to commit to something. You can't just go one side and then just say, okay, I'm going to go the other side, and then I'm say I'm going to go, because every single time, if you notice, every single time you've made this transition, you're giving up something, whether that's space, whether that's time, whether that's, you know, an angle, a strong angle, strong position, right? You're giving up something every single time you make the switch, and every time you're rotating, you're also allowing the enemy team to rotate for free, right? You need to kind of find where you're going to be, and then once you're fighting the enemy team, you have to commit. Once you're within the enemy team's reach, you've got to commit, right? Okay, this is better. This is good. I like it. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Nice. Right? Again, we went to this side of the map, we saw nothing, so instead of going back and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna go back to me, no, we kept going, we kept taking more space, taking more space, taking more space, taking more space, and eventually all of that space that we've taken gave us the opportunity to get the pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're taking the space to buy that opportunity, and that's what you just did, so that's great. Okay.
I don't like holding up there again.
What'd you say?
Because I think my team wants to hold up. I think my team wants to hold up like in the room, and I don't like holding up there again. Because I mean, again, Orisa Reaper, and we've got Doom. Like, I
Right.
think we should hold back. Yeah.
But if we're realistically going to start talking about effective ranges here, I honestly say that your team is even going to be maybe even closer range than theirs on average, right? Because they've got Ana, we've got Wu Yang. So off the bat there, right, it's going to be more so off the bat there, it's going to be kind of the effective ranges are going to be a little bit, you know, kind of neutral there between Wu Yang and Ana. Both of them pretty much infinite range, right? However, if we really look at it, their Orisa is longer range than our Doomfist, right? You know, their Reaper, well, not their Reaper, but their Moira is longer range than our Lucio, right? So if we kind of see that, then like these guys are probably at longer ranges going to, or at least mid range, going to be significantly better because we've got we've got like 3 heroes on our team that's like locked to close range, and then one other hero that can play at close range reasonably decently, right? Which is you. So if we're really going to kind of take a fight against the enemy team, then like we probably would want to play close here. Now again, I'm not necessarily saying that the fight location, the exact location that we are taking the fight is going to be optimal for this situation. I'm not entirely certain. I will just say though that like if your team is doing something like this, you kind of got to go with it no matter what it is, because you're the one who's throwing if you're the only one who's not doing anything. You got what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, and then again, we're back in another spot, in another position where we're just absolutely doing air, right? So how do we change this? How do we adjust this? Where do we start? Where do we start? Or do you
Could
think?
be where my Genji is top right, maybe. Like as they come through. No, actually, I don't see anything. I mean, I could be on top of my Wii here, poke down main and then rotate right.
Right,
Maybe.
right. Poke down main, then rotate right side. Maybe not through here because this gives Reaper opportunity, but like if you're like over here, you can kind of swing out this way and then fall back this way, right?
Yeah.
Towards the
And go
side of the map.
upstairs, like maybe where my Genji is.
And then maybe go upstairs where your Genji is later, or if you even need to, right? If the fight stays up here, then you can just stay up here with it. But at the same time, starting here, maybe swinging out back this way, this is going to be fine, right? Problem is that you're way too far back because you're like, oh guys, let's take a long range fight, guys. Let's take a long range fight, right? And you're just leaving your team to kind of 4v5 the entire time. Now, I will commend you in the fact that you are kind of employing what we're trying to say, where we're staying outside of the enemy team's reach, right? But you again, we want to stay outside of our enemy team's reach, but once we have that advantage, we want to go in and we want to trade, right? Now that window is going to flip as to when we have the advantage or not, but you're not in a position to flip with that window, right? Okay, nice, nice, nice. Okay. Okay, nice. Now, if I want to go back over here onto that, actually, hold on. Right. Okay. Like, imagine if instead, this is just hypothetical. I'm not saying that this should be something that should be what you do, right? But imagine if you're back here and you started poking, right? And then these guys start pushing deeper in, so then you just kind of kite back this way, right? Again, you're pretty much still doing the same amount of air that you were doing before, right? You can even poke out here. You can fight Cass this way. You can fight over here, poke out here. Once your team starts going in, bam, you're right here, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this also comes with the cost of not having a lot of great LOS, but at the same time, you're still immediately in the position that you need to be in when the fight really starts. All right? So, there's that. Okay. Just keep going, keep going. Right? You're not doing anything. You're not really shooting anything. I don't care. This is a perfect example of like the whole. This is not your time yet. You're not trying to. This is not your time to play. So you're just gonna sit AFK until something actually happens. Something worth your attention, worth your time happens. All right? Now your Reaper and your not your Reaper, your Lucio and your Doomfist through. But whatever. But again, where are we? Like, look at how far back we are, right when we need to start shutting the enemy team down, right? Like, we're here, we shoot this Cass, we can kill this Cass, realistically speaking, because he's way too close, right? And way too punishable. We can kill that. We can punish this Reaper heavily, right? He's going to be probably walking back into his team right now. And his team can't do squat about it, because where the heck are they, right? All the way back here, right? So a big part of this is acknowledging that you're not the only hit scan that's making mistakes here. Like, these guys are making stupid mistakes, and we need to be able to punish that. But if we're not putting ourselves in positions to punish that, then it's just never going to happen. Nice. Good job. Good job. Right? Especially every single time you kind of see this, right? Every single time you get into punish mode, you're doing it like flawlessly, right? Like, you're doing it really, really well, but you're just never putting yourself in the position to actually get into punish mode. You're kind of just, you're letting it fall into your lap, but that doesn't give you control, and that's what we want. We want control, right? Nice, love it, love it, right? And then you're just deleting people, love it. Problem, right? Your team's up here. Your team's still up here. We're fighting up here. I don't care what the right decision is. We only make the right decision when the entire team agrees that it's the right decision, right? Only. Don't let your whole entire team die. If it's one or two people, then sure, right? But do not let your entire team die, right? Not die kind of being like idiots when you can help them not die, at least. Babysit in these situations, yes, right? Don't kind of like be like, oh yeah, but this is the right decision, because now you're not in the position to be able to help anything. Okay, again, we don't like this current positioning right here. It's just not playing to your range, but right. See, and then like, big part about this, also about the whole not playing to your range thing, is if we kind of like look at the situation out here, I just want you to notice, like, they start over here at this choke, right? And if we kind of look at this and look at everything that happens after they kind of clear out the Doomfist, because again, we're not close enough to be able to help the enemy team, right? How much space do they take from us already, just automatically, off the bat,
I mean, the whole
right?
point, yeah.
Right? Like they take all this space instantly for free, right? Now, if we had people up here, if we had people back here, if we had people over here, then like again, we can fight. We can use our angles, we can use our positional advantages to fight back for the space after the fact, right? Or at least make them turn in like 30 different directions. Like if your Doomfist was alive and made them turn this way, and then you came off the back this way, you could probably just two-shot this Cass, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just kind of going to
I
be
think I
how that
just
works.
saw like the tank died as well. Like my Doom is dead, so I'm just running.
Exactly. It's again the my Doom is dead. I'm running, but in this situation, should you run? Like heck yeah, right? Why should you run? Because we don't have any ability at all to turn this fight around. Because we didn't set that up. You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and this is kind of a thing that kind of reinforces this kind of thinking of, oh, my Doom is dead, I gotta leave, or we're down a tank, or we're down ultimates, is because if you don't do anything that's going to give yourself advantages in those situations, you're going to be giving so much power to these things, to these concepts like ult advantages, man advantages, resource advantages, right? That they are going to be with the things that define the game at that point, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Oof. Okay. What's the problem? What do you think it is? Why do you die here?
4v5 and there's no distraction. I mean, like I'm the only one shooting them, so they're all gonna look at me, I think.
Right. Timing, right? Your team's nowhere near the AO, and you're just going and you're just walking out and just trying to peek and hard peeking like 5 people, right? So, yeah, but you're like, oh, I can get away with this for a second, but then there's tools like this one that make it so that you can't get away from it for a second. And I didn't know that the javelin had the little Pachimari thing on the mythic. That's cool. But like still, like that's. I'm sorry. All right, like that's what happens. Like especially if you get caught out in bad positions, that's what CC does, right? Like CC
Yeah.
punishes really poor positioning. If you get caught out in a bad position, CC makes it awful, right? If you're in a good position, CC is like, whatever, I can shrug it off.
Yep.
Come
It's like
back.
you're just commenting, we're gonna blade like we angle, like that's the game. Like we're gonna just be at 9-9, we blade we angle and we win because they got no defensives.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty chill. I'm like, you know, we got 3 ults. They shouldn't have like they have no
Right.
defensives, it's fine.
Okay. So then
And then
let me kind of question that. Where's the Genji in that scenario, right? Where's the enemy team in that scenario, right? Where are you with your ults? Because again, if you're in spawn and the Genji's in spawn and the Wu Ying's in spawn, those all 3 ults don't mean anything. They don't mean squat. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm talking specifically about being in spawn, but if the Genji pops Blade here and then Blades out here, even with Wu Yang ult, that's going to do squat. That's not going to do anything, right? So we need to get the Genji in the position where he can get the Wu Yang ult, where he can get his Blade off, and where he can actually secure kills and secure value without them hard kiting it, right? So even
yeah.
if we have the 3 ults, there's still a whole bunch of other steps we got to do.
Then Doom dies, so we decide to wait.
Right. Again, that's another one of those things where it's like, yeah, we have Genji, we've got Blade, we've got Wu Yang ult, we've got High Noon, sure, but then where is Doomfist? Right. We're down 1. We're down our person who's going to be holding and securing a whole bunch of the space for us. So of course, even with all of these ults, we're not even going to be able to do anything. And a big reason as to why we're not going to be able to do anything is because we're not in our positions yet. If we were still out, all sprawling out and taking space around the map, and Doomfist died, then we would just pop 3 ults and win. But we can't do that right now. Right? And this is exactly what I mean. Right? Now, you miraculously end up killing that Reaper. But what did our... Right.
Mechanical diff.
100%. But what did our Reaper and... Like, not Reaper. What did our Blade and Wu Yang ult end up doing? They end up killing 1 Ana all the way out here on the side of the map, and we are still getting completely stuffed in a choke. Right?
Yeah.
It's not about the
But I mean,
ults. It's more about the
that's on the
positioning.
bullet range, you know?
Huh?
Like if your blade re-angled thing, like with into no defensive, you should be able to kill a few, I think, here.
Well,
Like they
yeah.
have a pretty stationary comp, Ana, Cass. Like we should be able to kill those, I think.
Again,
With
but
blade
it's,
here.
it's it's not really about the they have a stationary comp. We should be able to kill things, right? Because again, that's oversimplifying it again, right? Because if we look at this, if Ana is playing up here, then she's not within reach of getting Wu Yang ulted or bladed at all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if Cass is playing far back and he goes for the Wu Yang ult or the blade, right? On just Cass alone, he can just play into a position where he can get hard pocketed by Ana, right? Or even if he does die, he can probably just try and die far away from the rest of the enemy team. Like that ult combo is not going to do anything to this. It's not going to do anything to this. It might do something to this, but he's probably not even going to think about this, right?
Yeah.
Now, if all 5 of them were stacked together in main, like certain Western teams would like to do, then well, of course that's going to get so much value because they have a stationary comp. They can't run away from the ult. But stationary is only matters when the positioning situation, is supposed to change and it can't, right? If the positioning is already perfect and they don't have to get to those positions, then it's not going to do anything, right? It's not going to mean anything at all, right?
Mhm.
Right. If you were going to high noon, I would probably have just tried to flank up here first, right? And just get this angle, poke people out, and then bait out jab spin and then do it, right? Because you can't get
Yeah. Yeah.
walked. You can't get walked on from up here, right? Or
Yeah.
you could rotate through this side, fight the Reaper, and then try an ult on point.
Yeah.
Either way, right? But again, you don't do anything for the setup. You just think, oh, I have an ultimate, so I'm going to use it, and then this is what happens. Now you just hit the mechanical diff, right? And you're just mechanic diffing everyone, but even still, like if we look at your positioning again, right? Not your effective range against this, which is probably going to do some damage to you. It did not do damage to you because this is bad, right? This thing sucks at the video game. It doesn't. That does not mean that they could not have that Prime Shu would have not have just absolutely cooked you there, right?
Mm.
Right. Okay. Okay. And we lose that, right? We'd end up losing that. That's crazy. Yeah.
I felt like I killed so many there, like the last fight, but
Right. But again, it's not about the kills. It's not about the kills. It's about the space, right? And if you
Mhm.
don't take the necessary space and force even if you get kills, it depends on where you get those kills, right? Because what we need to do, what's more important than just getting the kills and getting the numbers advantages, right? Is securing the space. If we can get kills forward, right, where we have the space to continue with the momentum, then that's going to be way better than getting kills backwards in our back line, where then the enemy team can just kite and just spread out and do whatever they want to do to kind of get positional advantages over us again, right? So again, not just about kills, not just about ultimates, not just about cooldowns. It's also about space. It's also about angles. It's also about there's a whole like effective ranges, fight locations, whole lot of different kind of elements that are at play here that aren't just the the obvious of visually appealing ones like the colorful buttons at the bottoms of your screen, right?
Mm.
So what we need to do is be able to identify those things and play for those things effectively. If you're on an angle, stay on that angle so that you can continue to control that map space. If there's nothing there on that side of the map, then you can rotate deep in that angle and utilize that space, take that space from the enemy, utilize that space against them aggressively, right? We talked about that. We talked about also leveraging your effective range against the enemy team, not giving them the opportunity to do damage to you. We also kind of talked about staying outside of the enemy team's reach, even if the enemy team has resource advantages or if they have the advantage in terms of effective range. If I am outside of a distance in which they can actually interact with me within any respect, then that means that I don't have to worry at all about dying to the stronger team composition, right? there's a whole lot of these different things that are going to matter, and if we don't think about these things, if we just think about these things way too simply and way too obviously, then we're going to forget about a whole bunch of the nuanced situations, and it's going to allow a lot of people to get way better than us than we are, no, even if our mechanics are good. Okay. Okay. I'm fine with this. This is just risky, right? This is just risky because again, you're kind of taking and holding this position, the space on the map. The second that people come out this way, this is going to be your priority. Which there are likely going to be people that are going to take this side of the map, or at least take this side of the map, or something of that nature. So you just need to be watching out and being prepared for that, right? If someone swings this way, this is your priority. You fall back and you deal with this, right? Okay, this is kind of fine too, but again, what ended up happening? What did you do? What was the key mistake? What was the problem?
It started going left and then went back right. Like didn't
Okay,
commit to left.
right, but if sure, maybe that's kind of what we did, yes, but what was the result of that? What was the result, the immediate result that we just had?
Wasted time, I
Okay,
suppose.
sure, but there's a little bit more of a bigger picture here. What is the immediate negative of the rotation that we just made? Right? What are we giving up?
The enemy Kree now has left side instead of me having gas.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We just gave up map space. Now is that going to show you a flashy little icon on the screen, or a hit marker, or like a bunch of elims in the pit, in the kill feed? No, but that's important. That's big. That's impactful. We just gave up all of this map space. So if this Kree does anything to that with that map space, then that's going to be it. That's going to be wraps. Right? Now we don't, because again, we're just better mechanically. But again, like that's not what we want to be banking on, right? Here, you can but the thing is, because you have such good mechanics, I can confidently trust you in this. You can 1v1 this, you can pressure that, then you can kill that, because this is kind of low HP, right? Then pressure out this in the back line, and then you can do a whole lot of different things out here, and you can just like solo, like just carry this fight completely, right? Or you can sit in the back, just do some meaningless spam damage, and then hope that your team doesn't get cooked.
No.
Right? That was, again, problematic. You did hit the roll necessary for this, but this is not, I would not walk straight into this Reaper in order to do that, right? If I wanted to swing out, I would probably just swing out further away from the corner so that I don't get hit into his effective range. Shoot at the Ana, then if the Reaper comes back, roll this way, and then flash him if he comes closer, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah. I think I like to take. I think I just force a lot of like 1v1s to just try to like win. I don't even need to. Like I can just be further back.
Right.
I kind of just trust myself to win the 1v1, so I just
And
I
again,
make it less overall by just forcing it. Yeah.
right. But again, a lot of this is because you're just not used to playing against people who are going to be better than you. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a really big issue. That's really problematic. Actually, in fact, on my team, I'm going to be airing out his dirty laundry here. On my team that I coach, I had a player that I used to coach on one of my teams, and he essentially was a really, really good Hanzo player. Right. He hit a lot of really nasty shots on Hanzo, and it was actually kind of insane. Right. But the thing is, he was a plat player, and the reason why he was a plat player is because he hit so many. Actually, yeah, no, he was plat. He hit so many really insane shots, right? That he just thought about the game in terms of how can I hit my shot, not in terms of what's going to be the consequences if I make some rotations or whatnot, because he's not thinking about how hard he gets punished. All he thought about it was how better he was than the enemy team, and if he's not and if he's ends up dying, it's because his team sucks, because he's obviously good enough to hit the shot, right? So what he will do, hilariously enough, was I saw one game of his. I'm sorry, man. I have to talk about this. I saw one game of his where he essentially just there was a Rhine shield in front of his face, and he wanted to hit shots on people, and he got so mad and so upset about that, right, that he just tries to walk through the enemy Rhine shield to try to hit people in backlight. And the problem is that he doesn't do this and then think automatically, oh, it's stupid at the end of it. No, 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 no. This man will do it again and again and again. Right? But that's the reason I bring this up is that's the problem with talented people, is that especially if you're really, really talented and really, really good at doing something, then a lot of the other skills of importance will go to the wayside because you rely way too heavily on the thing that you're good at. Right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you have really good mechanics. Yeah, you're really good at hitting duels and 1v1s. Don't force it when you don't have to. Acknowledge when you have just an advantage that you can push and that you don't have to kind of force things. And then, kind of live with that, right?
Yeah. No, this is risky. I should just be further back and just
Right.
kill him like without. Yeah.
Right. And then what
And like
ends
die
up
because the drop.
happening to you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, now it's starting to make a lot more sense, right? We get to see it more. Right? What's problematic? Okay? Right? What's problematic there? Right?
Got baited with one hit Reaper, yeah.
Right. You walk straight into the Reaper, and then now you're ignoring the fact that there's a Ramatra out here that if he still had more Nemesis form, he would have been cooked. Right?
Yeah. I think I still die, maybe. No, I don't. I do die.
Okay. Now, what else could you have potentially done in this fight?
I could just shoot left, like where my Doomfist is fighting. They're all distracted. I could shoot the Lucio, maybe.
Yeah, you just shoot left. You can maybe do a little bit of this.
Oh, that's my Lucio. But yeah, I could like shoot around where my Doomfist is. Go left more, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe.
I thought the Reaper shift would end, to be honest. I don't think I saw when it began. I thought like his Wraith would end, and I kept looking at him, and the Wraith never ended.
Okay, so you could go over here, and you can shoot this. This feels like a really good angle. This feels nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about this?
Yeah, I could go far right too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, most of the time, vast majority of the time, you're just going to have two options as to what side of the map to lean to. It's just going to be left or right, and a lot of the times, either one kind of works. It just depends on which one has the least of your team and which one has the most advantage.
Stay? Like, would you go right side and keep shooting? Because my Doomfist just died. Or, like, do you wait for your tank to come back and fight? Or, like, do you go right side and try to shoot?
Again, when it comes to that, it depends on where you are, right? If your Doom goes in and dies, and like the rest of your team is like back here, then it means like, okay, we don't have this space, we don't have the positions yet, right? But if we kind of see what's going on, they just wasted a whole bunch of resources on this Doomfist. Your Lucio is still kind of in, and at this point, like it means that like, and you kind of have a decision. Like you could do either one. You could either back off and live, or you could try to go in and try and trade something. To be honest, if a fight is already going to be lost, I don't think that there's any real problem with just going in and just trying to see if I can trade out.
Okay.
Right. Because especially if it's like control point maps, like trading on this map is crazy, right? Like these maps are crazy. Like there's a lot of times where you'll see like players literally pop ults 1v5 just to get like 2 picks, because of how impactful those 2 picks would be on maps like this, where they just come back really like at the same time, right? So like it's just like you can trade on this map. It's fine. Now, if it was more of a map where the enemy team had respawn advantage, then trading becomes a lot less powerful, right? Like if you're spawn camping on Havana, right? Which I don't know if people can still do that anymore, but right, like it doesn't make a lot of sense to try and go for risky trade plays, because the enemy team's just going to respawn right back there, and you're going to be all the way in your spawn 50 miles away, right? But the idea, generally speaking, is that if you are already within the enemy team's reach and you're already within a distance in which you can fight people, then that's what you should do, and that's what you should commit to, right? Your Ramatra's here, your Lucio's here, right? Like the enemy Ramatra is kind of here, your Lucio is kind of in, right? So in this circumstance, it's just like, okay, I can kind of just commit right here and I can keep going in, or I can kind of decide to back off and back up. But if I wait this long to back up, right, it's over, because the Ramatra's right there, meaning that if I start running away, he's going to chase me. Right? I can't run out of this reasonably. Now, I could try to, but
I'm not
it's
trying
not
to
going to be
run
that.
here. I think I just,
No, you don't.
Die.
You had an opportunity.
I actually go back in, yeah.
Right, and then you just, like, imagine, like, you had the opportunity to go over here, but you just didn't.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, it's just, it would be too late at that point. There's just going to be times where it's going to be, sometimes it's going to be too late, sometimes it's going to be, like, you know, right on time. Where? Which side? Yeah, you have teammates over here on the side. You can kind of commit with them on this side. Whatever. You could also go over here this way, which I like this because you're 91 to ult.
Yeah.
Right. Which side do you go to? Neither one, because your concept of hit scan is sit in main and shoot tank. Right. Right. You did flank eventually, but was the fight? Let's see when the fight was happening. Right. Right. The fight's happening. Right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 5 seconds while the fight was currently going on, you were completely out of the fight because you made the rotation super late. Right? Was that problematic here? No. Will that probably be problematic eventually? Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Again with this problem. Right. Your team is up here. I understand rolling back and not being right here because then you're going to be within the enemy's reach. But this is fine. Just chill back here. Like even sitting behind this thing. Like this is fine. Just sit here and start shooting at people. You don't have to run all the way back because you're like, oh, your team just wants to kind of play all the way back here on point. You're throwing. Right? You are throwing. Right? Sit here. Shoot at people, kill this Cass, kill this Reaper, and then we take the space even deeper in because they are going to make a mistake, right? And even if they don't make a mistake, are we losing anything off of this? Absolutely not. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we end up giving all of that space for free without even forcing one ultimate out of them, and they have 4 ults right now.
Yep.
I like this angle though. It's just a bit far. Right? Now, assuming we don't know where the Reaper is, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
Rotate deeper in. Shoot Ramatra in the back. Maybe shoot this. You can go and shoot the Ana later. Whatever. Just take this map space. Right? That works too. That works too. This works too. Don't push it. Right? You're taking map space inch by inch, inch by inch. That's how you want to do it. This is taking a mile. Right? Don't push it. Don't push it. Right. Right. Nice, nice, nice. Did you just 360? Okay. And again, there's also a problem with just like, oh, I'm backing up because I'm anticipating something when I don't need to. Right? And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm not in the fight right now. My team is going in. Let me roll back in, and now I don't have no rolls on the 6-second cooldown. So the Ramatra essentially pops ult till you're cooked, which he should. Right? Like these guys, like you don't even need to ult this, honestly. Actually, no, I think that this is fine. I think that ulting this is fine, but at the same time, like this is they screwed up so big time, right? Like they screwed up their ult rotation so bad. They should have just popped ults.
Yeah, I just saw the Nano Reaper, so I wanted to like high noon so it doesn't.
Right? But if you're high nooning right here, why are you pressing W? Right? Like just chill back here, because the whole entire point of the high noon is to control map space so that you can wait the nano out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if that's the case, then you can just chill. Right? And then again, right? This is the problem with giving up map space, is because they ult here when we can't kite anymore, rather than ulting up there where we could kite. Right?
Yeah.
So. Nice. Like it. Love to see it. Okay.
Huh.
That time made sense. You were here. You were in a position to do something strong. Reaper came up. You didn't know where the heck he was, right? But like, you really wanted to be here to get that chance of getting a good pick on Cass and the pressure on Mantra over here, right? I would probably not have rolled out this way, but I mean, whatever. Like the Reaper kind of got the jump on you.
Because Wraith 2 does the flash. Played that good.
Yep. Yep. So mechanically speaking, probably could have been better on that in that 1v1, because there wasn't really that much options to do anything else, realistically speaking. But okay. All right. Do we like our position right now?
It's okay. I mean, I'm just shooting tanks, so it's not maybe so good. Maybe I can off angle shoot the squishy
Okay. And
instead
so how
with
could
the
we make
ram.
this a little bit better? How could we make this slightly better?
Uh, I don't know if I had time. If I was on the high ground where my Lucio is, that would be nice. If not, I could go left side maybe, like behind where the ram is, kind of like stairs here. Shoot his team as they walk through.
Right. Just sit here, just shoot his team, shoot Ram, shoot Reaper, shoot his team, and just chill and control space that way. And you can do a
No.
lot more damage that way. But you're kind of walking straight through main. Now Reaper goes this way, and you're not really there, and he's going to hit you in the back, which is going to be the same exact problem. Right? That was funny. You just you missed that shot. Okay, if you hit that one,
Yeah.
then the high noon made sense.
Yeah, like I insta high noon thinking I would hit it too. I think I like
All
just
right.
like right click and then I popped high noon thinking maybe
Okay, that was just you
because
kind
I
of
wasted flash. I missed flash too. Yeah, like it
right.
just all went terrible. I missed flash. I missed right click.
Yeah, no. Okay. At that point, if you're just trying to do something, no, it's like whatever. I get it. I understand. You're just kind of trying to do something to kill the Reaper, right? You flip the coin. At this point, you would have to flip the coin because you made the initial mistake, the non-coin flip mistake of just walking straight through main as opposed to holding this angle this way, right? Where you
Yeah.
could have just shot at the Reaper as he was coming through. But
I think I'm
yeah,
just too comfortable taking melee range 1-on-1s against a Reaper and just trying to hit every shot on him, which is just dumb.
yeah. You can
Yeah,
you are always going to be too comfortable with that. That is always going to
yeah,
be right. Like I don't think there's ever a right amount of comfort with fighting a Reaper in melee range.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
had one of the few times the other round as well, so I was like, yeah, it's okay. But yeah,
yeah.
he leveled up this round. I don't know. He's winning them now.
Okay,
But I think my team just wins without me.
okay. You're on the tracer, and then you just win. Okay, all right, that's fine. That is totally fine. We got 1/16. Let me just kind of do the thing that I always love to do. Let me see if I can find a wall. Aha! We found something akin to a wall. Yes! Yes. Wait, is my game in full screen right now? Let me change this borderless one did. Okay. Alright, now let me do something real quick. Me. Hello?
Hello.
Uh-oh, what is going on? Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Finally.
it works.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Now my favorite time, my favorite time period. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. What are 3 things we can work on from this game that we've seen so far?
I think off angling more on hit scan also. I think
Okay.
I give up too quickly. Like when a tank, like it's a bad tank match or my tank is just dead in a 4v5. I can just accept the loss.
Right.
I think
Right.
taking less ego duels is good. Like I don't have to force ego duels.
Let me just let me just say don't ego. Right. And then what's the third thing you can tend to take away from this? Right.
I think
There's a pretty bad habit that you kind of have when your team is playing in
I kind
awkward
of don't
positions.
like. Yeah, I think I like to play correctly, even if my like I don't int with my team. I rather just like lose the game than play wrong.
Right. And I think we can work a lot with that, with understanding this because this kind of plays into a lot of things. Oh my goodness, I cannot write. Right. Okay. So. All right. So when we're talking about taking angles, right? What are going to be how we're going to break this down? So when are we going to want to take angles? When are we going to want to start taking angles?
when I guess my team is on kind of an opposite side, that there's some distraction or
Or
like
is that
there's a
when
good
we're gonna
angle
want
to
to
kind of help.
start? Are you sure?
Before the fight, like before the fight, when I
Okay.
start taking the angle, right before anything breaks out.
Okay, so before fight, right, is when we want to start taking angles, right? Now, you've kind of said when your team starts taking attention, when they start taking, sometimes you are going to be the one who's making space for your tank, right?
Mhm.
Like we kind of saw that a whole bunch when it came to the Doomfist and the Orisa in First Point, where you had opportunities to kind of swing out and take and tank for the Doom because you had all of the kind of the stars aligning in terms of your ability to do that, your capability of doing that. That can be a way for you to take space even when your tank sucks, right? It's
Yeah.
just taking a nice off angle, especially on their front line, to kind of push their front line out, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And then, what's another thing that we can say when it comes to when it comes to taking angles, right? Ooh, here's another one, right? What kind of angles do you want to take? Like,
Uh,
what is the position going to look like for the angles that you take?
you want to be able to see, like, I guess the enemies, like good wide angle,
Okay,
maybe.
sure. But what was a problem? What was problematic, especially on Second Point when we were kind of taking that angle in main, right? What was problematic?
It's
Why
just
was that
too short. Like I was too far back.
too
Like not
far?
in my effective range.
Right. So you need to play a little bit more into your. Oh my goodness, I cannot type. I can't. I have to think and I hate thinking, man. Thinking sucks. Right. So making sure that you're constantly playing into your effective range, which will also kind of play into your don't ego thing. So when it comes to don't ego, what is the main principle that we want to understand when it comes to don't ego?
Fight on like in kind of my own effective range and like optimal situation, not just force any 1v1, I
Right,
guess.
right, 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 right. So, okay, so don't force 1v1, right? But also, when it comes to don't ego, what's the big thing? How do we know when we're egoing and when we're not? What's the big thing that we want to kind of look for in order to not ego?
My own optimal range, I guess, versus
Okay,
theirs.
sure. We kind of got rid of effective ranges a lot in terms of that, but also there are some other advantages that we can leverage as well. But the kind of idea is that we don't want to give them the opportunity to kill us, right?
Yep.
So don't. Okay, so instead of don't give them opportunity, don't play to their strengths,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
So don't play close range into a Reaper. Don't play long range into a Widowmaker and try and ego duel that with your mechanics, right? And then just gonna add also set up your own advantages, right? Okay. And then when it comes to three, which is playing quote unquote correctly, I kind of wanted to break this down. First of all, we're going to do the obvious thing, right? Which is essentially going to be just, you know, don't kind of play with your team, right? It's just going to be like kind of play with your team. Int together strong. I'm sorry. All right. So there's going to be that. That's going to be the interesting idea in terms of like playing with your team, right? Where it's like, okay, if our team is deciding to go in and do something stupid, go with them. You want to make making sure that you're playing with your team and that you're fighting with your team at the same time, right? But
Hmm.
so another really really important thing that I want to discuss when it comes to the concept of playing quote unquote correctly, right, is the idea that is essentially going off of the idea that We don't want to look at what we would expect to be like kind of the generalized concept of what we're supposed to be doing by like like looking at like pro play or just looking at like just certain things and trying to make constant ideas of like, oh, this is bad in every situation and context, this is good in every situation and context, right? What we want to do, realistically speaking, is that we want to kind of say, okay, I want to look at the whole board. I want to look at all of the advantages and disadvantages that I have, and I want to look at what advantages can I, give up so that I can leverage others stronger, or what advantages can I leverage more that I wouldn't normally otherwise, right?
Mhm. Okay.
So it's instead of trying to play correctly, right? Don't do that. Play with what you have, right?
Okay.
And that's what I'm going to kind of say. Right? Play with what you have. Right? If you have space, use it. If you have an angle, use it. If you have your effective range, use it. If you have ults, use it. If you have all of these kinds of things, utilize the tools that are effective to you and look at the game in terms of those tools. Don't look at the game in terms of I'm a hit scan, so I'm supposed to be helping my tank shoot at the, push that back their tank by shooting at the supports, and then, don't, because that's adding either unnecessary context to the situation or not enough context to the situation. Don't say, oh, they're playing an immobile comp, so it means that we can just press a bunch of ultimates and win because that's going to be our win condition, which I hate the terminology win condition, by the way, because those things really don't exist. But that's going to be a conversation for another time. But essentially, it's just like, don't think about things like that because there's a lot of situations and contexts that matter in those cases, right? There's going to be the thing that's going to generally happen most of the time, a majority of the time. But if you only think about things in terms of the statistical majority, once the minority rears its face, you're not going to know what the heck is going on or what to do, right? So look at
Okay.
the full picture, the full context, and take in all of that information when you're trying to make your decisions, right?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
do you want to write these down or take a screenshot of them?
Yeah. Let's take a screenshot.
Okay. I will send you. I will take a screenshot as well and send it to you for redundancy's sake. Right.
Thank you.
Welcome. Just making sure because I know people can lose things. Um. All right. So, that being said, these are going to be the things that you're going to be wanting to practice, right? Right. A lot
Mhm.
of it is going to be kind of like the playing with your team and trying to play correctly, but it's also going to be creativity when it comes to taking angles, right? When you're
Mhm.
practicing something, only take one thing at a time, practice one kind of small detail at a time, not even just one of the larger overarching things, but just practicing noticing or executing on these smaller kind of little subcategories here, right?
Mhm.
And just focus throughout that on that kind of one concept throughout the entire game that you're going to be practicing it, right? Don't focus on anything else. If you can't focus on something for the entirety of a game, just try and make the first three fights perfect. Is what I'd like to try to do, right?
Oh,
Okay. My disclaimer that I use every single time is that when you are practicing these things, you will suck, right? It's
mhm.
just going to be how it works. If you're focusing really hard on doing some few things, a lot of the things that you're normally already good at doing are going to be, you're going to be getting worse at because of the fact that you're not going to be able to allocate the mental bandwidth to those things, and that's okay because all we're doing is trying to put as much focus and attention as to onto focusing on improving one particular area of our gameplay as much as possible. That way we can, improve. That way we can improve upon that as fast as we can possibly, and then we can go back to like, integrating it with everything else, right?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Yep. Um, yeah. So practicing all of those things. Uh, do you normally like practice things? Do you have like sessions where you focus on practice?
No, no. I mean, I don't know. I kind of just. I think the first season I started playing, I was Masters, and then GM after that. Kind of just happened.
Okay,
I
right.
didn't like. I didn't play that much Overwatch to be
Okay, no, no,
honest.
no, 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 no. That's fine. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. It's just that like when you want to, especially if you want to kind of get better at these things, like if you want to get better at hit scan or better at whatever, right? A lot of the
I
times you
just
can.
watch a lot of like people play. Like I watch a lot of like I watch a lot of gameplay, I guess, from pros and so on,
Right.
like high ranked players.
Right, 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 and yeah, and if you watch a lot of that gameplay, that you know, that's great. But again, watching that gameplay without understanding the nuance and the context is what creates situations like these where you're like, okay, this is exactly how it's everything's supposed to be, right? Without
Yeah.
understanding the fact that you're not playing with a tracer on your team that's hard locking down and controlling space for you to allow you to sit in main and shoot, right? You're playing
Yeah.
with Joe Schmo, idiot Lucio over here, who's going and doing tricks all over in the back line. That's what you're doing. So
Yeah.
you got to be able to adjust to that. And okay, so there's kind of that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's going to be pretty much it for the video portion. If you want to say goodbye to everyone.
Well, hope the gameplay was fun to watch as well. And yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely,
goodbye.
definitely. All right, see y'all.